So, welcome, Eli, to the My Story podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to share your story with us. As you are probably aware, story is something that really connects people and can convey information so much more powerfully than just facts and telling people stuff.
Totally. I get that. Absolutely.
And so sometimes, when you tell your story, somebody who's going through something similar to your experiences can be really helpful to help them find clarity in how to think about it and what to do in it, and then help them to feel, encouraged to stay the course. Right?
Yeah.
So this is something that like AA uses frequently. They have somebody, a guest speaker, come in a lot to tell their story of how they achieve sobriety and maintain sobriety. And it's so key for the people who are struggling, or maybe they've had a lot of wins and they're kind of, plateauing, or it can be just so, invigorating and remotivating for them to keep on going. So that's why I really like using the narrative form to be helpful in the relationship space.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So thank you for being willing to tell your experience.
Totally. Yeah, I'm excited.
So I'm going to ask from the beginning of what was your first few experiences going into the dating world, or just kind of tell us what your first sort of inklings of, okay, I'm interested in finding a mate, if you will, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And what were the curiosities that you had? What were the confusions that you had? What were the things that you were trying out and experimenting with? And what were some of the sort of ideas that you were getting from your environment, whether it was your parents or your church or whatever, about how to go about that? That's a lot.
Yeah.
So just start wherever you want to.
No, I get you. I really didn't start dating until like junior year of high school.
Okay.
I felt like a late bloomer, actually, at the time.
Me too.
Oh, okay. I was a late bloomer. I felt like I had friends already, 8th grade were dating and hanging out with the lady friends during that, after school and whatever the case would be. So I was just like, okay. But I was in sports. I was in soccer until freshman year, school and club.
Okay.
And then
so it gave you something to channel your energy into.
I and always out with friends and doing stuff outside. I lived in Long Island. Okay. So being in New York, Long Island,
that's interesting. I don't detect the Long Island accent very much.
No, I don't have one. It's gone.
That's amazing.
I graduated.
That's a hard one to get rid of.
I graduated in 2001. It comes out when I'm tired or drunk. So I'm sure it does come out that way. So
I graduated in 2001.
Oh, okay. There you go. So, and then I left New York and went to Denver. But to, the beginning of things and dating finally in about junior year, I think ultimately I was just like, okay, I had a job already. My first job, McDonald's. Heck
nice.
Yeah, did it.
Good place to start.
Good place to start. It was a lot of fun. I worked in a mall. It was like one of those food court spots. And so met a lot of friends, met a lot of people. It was a really, really fun time. But so I think just having a little more money in my pocket kind of gave me that courage and confidence to start dating.
Yeah, that's so interesting because I've been exploring this theme a lot with men, and a lot of men equate their worthiness as a mate very tightly tied to their ability to make money and their possession of money.
Well, I did grow up a little more. I'm Puerto Rican and then a mutt on the Anglo-Saxon area.
Okay.
But then I grew up though with my stepmother mostly since like first grade, and she's Peruvian. Very traditional values.
Okay. Yep.
And so I grew up with learning a little more about chivalry, a little more about like the man taking care of the woman kind of feeling. I'm very traditionalist. If you know me now, in the last 15 years, my wife's been the breadwinner the whole time, so kind of interesting how that works, but an amazing dynamic. But it was more of like making sure to have the right manners, approaching the family correctly, a little more chivalry, a little more courting than what I think almost out the window these days. In my
what do they
opinion.
call it now? Talking.
Yeah, we're talking.
What does that mean?
Hanging out. So ultimately started dating from some ladies, but
So, quick question. So,
yeah,
you considered yourself a late bloomer. So, when you
yeah.
observed your friends sort of having girlfriends in 8th grade and you hadn't yet, do you remember what you thought and felt about that?
Um, Actually, no. I didn't really like. It wasn't heavy on me. It
Okay.
wasn't anything like. I just say that out loud because I already knew I had friends that were dating all everything, and then looking back into it now, like I haven't really looked back into this part of my life in so long.
We don't do that often.
Yeah, right. And thinking about it with your question today, I'm like, wow, you know what? I kind of was, and so, um, and then senior year, and then college, right? So I only had a few girlfriends until I met my wife in my second year of college, just to give you a little time frame there before, yeah, diving into the beginnings of dating, like you're asking. Um, but yeah, so I basically just why I guess the question of what the confidence was first to then start dating,
Mm-hmm.
and then
And money
just
helped with that a lot.
money, yeah, putting money in my pocket gave me the confidence that, hey, I make money, I could do things, I can go out, I could spend money on a date or her and myself and what have you, and
Do you
create
remember
that
any other efforts that you made to increase your confidence?
increased confidence. Well, I guess I got into my talents, and I say that a little differently. I don't know if this is what you're getting after with the story, but I had some talents. I was lucky and blessed I could dance.
Nice.
In New York, being Puerto Rican,
You gotta know how
you
to
kind of have to dance. Yeah, that was kind of a thing. You definitely needed to know how to dance. If you didn't, you were kind of excommunicated with the family. So I could do, merengue, salsa, cumbia, bachata. I
Cool.
could break dance. I was a
Cool.
big thing with like glow sticks and stuff I got into.
Nice.
Like I was that big kind of raver era, but knew how to dance and everything like that. So I, go to a party or then in the late 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, I went to the clubs, went to house parties, and there was actually dancing. People actually, danced and did things instead of just talking and whatever,
On their
some kind of
phone.
activity on their phone or pool or darts or something nowadays,
So,
I guess.
okay, so you leaned into an area where you could demonstrate excellence, right?
Yes, there you go.
Which is a way that males typically attract a female or their attention, right?
Yeah, and able, I guess, the gift of jab, right? I'm able to talk with anybody
Okay,
at any
nice.
time. I was very confident talking with anybody. I'm considered a funny guy, or this like, oh, this guy's awesome. I have those compliments all my life, I guess.
Cool.
So ultimately, I guess people feel comfortable enough to have a conversation with me,
Yeah.
and so I was able to relate, I guess, and have a good conversation, have a fun conversation, be light, and just having a good time.
Do you remember? So I know a lot of men, especially young men, when they're figuring out the whole male-female social thing, they have a lot of anxiety around approaching, like, what do I say? What do I do?
Yeah.
And, that's just a rite of passage. You have to mess up, and you have to say the wrong thing, and you have to make a fool of yourself until you don't anymore. I mean, that's
Yeah.
sales, that's anything, right?
Totally.
Do you remember that experience of trying things and being super embarrassed and humiliated, or not super, but slightly,
No, yeah.
and then just figuring out, do you remember going through that process?
No, usually, I think, I guess I had a good partner on the other side that made me feel not as humiliated or feel goofy or feel uneasy.
Okay, cool.
I think I got lucky with that, because typically, like I would just meet with people. A couple of them were at work with me, right? We always date people at work. I think when you're in your 16, 18, 19 years old. And so I think ultimately we kind of already been comfortable talking to each other already. And so just taking that leap of faith of maybe being a little more serious or, enjoying each other's company and doing a date, it was kind of easier in that regard.
Yeah, because you got a lot of practice with interaction in a more neutral setting.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't like that, like meeting a person at first and trying to date them right away.
Right.
It was always something in the inner circles or meeting people, knowing them already.
Right. So there was some community.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's
So-
been my whole life.
Yeah, I think that's pretty mostly common.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like we meet people through people, or at least
Yeah.
before smartphones. Right? We meet people through people.
Yeah, before the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. So before you met your girlfriend who became your wife, you said you had a few girlfriends.
Yeah. My
Were
number's
any of
low.
them serious? Were any of them very serious, or?
Um, Serious is I think a strong word when you're 18 years
Yeah,
old.
I agree.
I did meet my girlfriend wife when I was 19, so
Okay.
I kind of got serious with one pretty quickly, I guess, in that younger age. I didn't have I know my brother, for instance, had a serious girlfriend for a handful of years. They bought a house together, sold the house, lived together for quite some time, and then eventually broke up.
Mm.
And then now dating again for a handful of months. But I figured like something like that. Nah, that wasn't me. I actually, lucky enough, found the love of my life pretty early. So.
Okay.
Pretty rocky though in the beginning. Don't. It's not all rainbows and butterflies.
I definitely want to get to that. So, what was it about her that made you gravitate towards her and put your energy in her
I think it
direction?
goes back to that conversation piece. So with her, and she'll tell you this story as well. We've been together since 2002, so we've been around for a while. But okay. So in college, it was my second year, her first year, right? So she's a year younger than me, and I was a orientation leader.
Okay.
All right,
That's a good way to meet chicks.
that was the fishing line. That was the fishing rod. Yeah, and so meet a lot of ladies, and then with my boisterous social self, I was very personable, and I was in the skit, and I was inviting people left and right, talking about it. Hey, come out to the show. Make sure you make it there. So constantly, promoting community and promoting getting out there, and met her and her roommate. And she would know I was pursuing the roommate first. But after, orientation, a couple weeks, now into the first couple weeks of college, we started in August. Roommate wasn't interested in me. So we were chatting, but we were talking. And it was about back to that conversation piece. We just were able to have a conversation for like 6 hours straight in her building.
Oh, wow.
Just talking. They went out to, we're going to go play volleyball. Like, okay. And we'll meet up. And then we just kept talking. It was just like that connection right away. And we had a conversation back and forth. And then, and then we started talking, like they say these days. And then, 4 months later, we were moving in together.
Okay.
Into an apartment.
So she was a great conversationalist.
Great conversation,
What else?
warm, comfortable.
Warm. Okay.
Yeah, comfortable. And we were then the communities come together, right? She, her friends, our parties are happening, everyone's involved, and 30, 40 people in our community immediately, pretty quickly, bounce around 3, 4 different houses every weekend. It was like a house that always had a party, and we just kept hanging out and kept talking, and then just got more and more serious. But then she was definitely the driver to be like, she had a boyfriend, by the way. He was almost 30.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
he was an executive chef.
Well, okay.
And I'm this young 19-year-old, barely having buck to my name.
Yeah.
But she was like, wow, she was in that a little more of a serious relationship, like travel together with the family, and then found out that she's dating this Puerto Rican in college, and mom and dad were like, what's going on here? So that was interesting. But
how did she handle that triangle?
well, she broke it off pretty quickly, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she broke it off pretty quickly, and we talk about it, but she was like, enjoyed the fun, youthful of who I am. That's why I'm fun and youthful.
You're
And
in the same stage of life.
yeah, and
Which is interesting because a lot of young women do date older men, because developmentally women are about 18 months ahead of men in their age group, like emotionally and psychologically. So I mean, it makes sense, but that's quite a big jump, 30.
It was kind of weird.
Different generation.
Crazy stories there. yeah, exactly. But and then we moved in together. Then like 4 months after that, it was like springtime. We broke up. I left the apartment, the 1-bedroom apartment. I'm like, you can't have this. We broke up for a few months, and then we got back together again. And then after that, we wanted to move back to Arizona. That's where she grew up, and that's why I'm here now.
Okay.
I had one more year of college left.
Okay.
They connected. She actually came out and visit.
So you did the long distance thing?
No, it wasn't exactly totally not mutual. It wasn't totally exclusive.
Oh, okay.
in my head.
Okay.
But eventually I had an opportunity to do I was in trimester. It was a weird college. It was a very private business school, and we had to do a internship. I was able to land an internship here in Scottsdale, in Arizona, and be with her again. And yeah, completed that. Went back to walk. Didn't get my degree because I really didn't do what I was supposed to do with the internship. Walked because we had trimesters, so they were like, "Hey, just come back for the fall, finish this up, and you're done. Right? And you graduate. You have your degree." All right, yeah, perfect. And then that was May, right, of 2005.
Okay.
June, Father's Day of 2005, I found out I'm being gay.
Oh, wow. Okay. So let me back up a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there was friction and conflict, right? Because you guys broke up. Do you remember what the issues were that caused the breakups?
It was my fault.
Okay.
There was just, I felt, I guess, looking back, probably like we moved in together, things were moving, and I just felt, I think, maybe a lot of pressure. And I actually...
Was that pressure coming from her or just from your own
it was just
mind, from your family?
No, nothing from that. I think it was me. It was all me.
Your own internal pressure.
She's moving along the way she wants to, what she sees fit. My family just knows I was in college. I wasn't really like heavily connected there, but ultimately it was a lot of friction and there was a lot of pressure. Turning into
what caused the pressure? What thoughts?
I think for me, and talking with her, even before moving in together, like I wanted to make sure, kind of come back to that place of money in my pocket. I wanted to make, like, I don't want to get married. I didn't want kids until I was 30.
Okay.
Right? Kind of
do you remember why 30?
I just felt like, okay, out of college, you're 23, establish a career a little bit. By that time, you're pretty well in a place that you can support your family.
Okay.
That was my stupid brain at 18 or 19 years old. And I say stupid now because I'll give the solutions or like what made it better going forward. And so I had that in my mind, and I don't know, maybe things were moving too fast for me. Maybe I to think about it at the time, and I actually wrecked her car, brand new car. Had a huge argument, and that's kind of what, like, I'm like, why? What is this? Like, what is going on here? So, and I was like, I need to get out of this. And so, yeah, handful of months, broke up, and
so
go ahead.
What made you decide I need to get out of this? Was it just conflict? Was your young brain going, there shouldn't be conflict in a relationship? So
probably,
this one has
I'm
conflict.
supposed to have fun right now. We're supposed to have fun.
So this isn't right because there's conflict.
Yeah, maybe, or just like this is just too much. Why we, why is there so much pressure? Why is there so much? There's just so much going on. We're paying our bills, rent, got to work, got to, school,
and it's not being fun.
Yeah. I think that's basically what it was. And then it's like, okay, wait a minute, this is crazy. Like, I don't want to grow up this fast.
Oh, okay.
And so
I want to keep on
being me. College me, partying, have a good time, enjoy life, right?
Yeah.
And so, this is interesting. I never actually like really dove into this deep. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is new for everybody. The whole community, the whole world's gonna know. And so, I think that's probably what it was. And then we were involved in like almost like that orientation leader stuff. You ever go like you have the college visits, and then they have these students. You have all these students out there to like help direct people, right? A few times a year we do that. So her and I were actually involved in that group.
Okay.
So started talking again, and then a few months, like I said, a handful of months later, we got back together. So now she had a roommate, 2-bedroom apartment now, right? She was able to transfer out of the 1-bedroom, get into a 2-bedroom. Now I was friends with her as well, with the roommate, and then started that relationship again, and we had dogs already.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So taking on responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a pressure, right? Like a relationship is responsibility.
Already.
A apartment is responsibility. A dog is responsibility. And I've heard it said that the way that we build meaning into a life, like life isn't inherently meaningful, we build it into it.
Okay.
And the way we build meaning into life is by the voluntary adoption of responsibility.
Oh, interesting.
right? And so voluntary is the key part, right? If
She was more of the person volunteering us to do a lot of
okay,
responsibility things.
so that's where the pressure was coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, so she sounds like she knows kind of where she's going, and she's an action taker, and she
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
And so would you
big
call
time.
yourself an action taker?
No, I'm more reserved.
Okay.
I'm more
So
of like
you
I need
think
to
and
think.
analyze.
Yes, almost to a default.
A fault, yeah. Okay.
Almost to a fault. So I could talk it over. I could think about it. We'll make a decision. Where she's like, let's make a decision.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Has that been a point of tension in your relationship? That
No.
interesting.
We grew, I guess, until I was 30, 32 years old. We realized how to truly communicate with each other, set expectations properly.
Okay, hold on. So let's
No,
let's
that's fine.
figure out how many years is that when you said by the time I was about
8
30.
years.
That's okay. So let's be grounded in reality, everyone who's
Yeah.
listening. That's a long time, and that's very typical. I always say that it takes about the first 4 to 5 years to really establish trust.
Sure.
To really have that benefit of the doubt that what that person said probably wasn't meant to hurt me. Maybe it
Right.
was,
Okay, I see
but
what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
going to jump to a conclusion. I'm going to lean in and find out if it was, instead of the automatic oh,
Yeah.
that was meant to hurt me, right?
Right.
It takes a long time. So it took
does.
8 years to really get to feel each other out and
Well,
know
and
how to
with
communicate.
kids.
Oh, yeah.
And now I have 2 kids
Yeah.
at that time.
And that adds a whole other
And
complication.
and there was a lot of friction because when I had my first kid, we got married, and we've been together. Yes, off and on. We had some ups and downs, but we were basically together for 4 years at that
Yeah.
time. And then had a kid, and she was born in February of 2006. We got married September of 2006.
Okay.
And we talk about this all the time. We have Friday mornings where I do a coffee meeting or a coffee date. Or no.
Oh, when did you start that?
This year actually,
Cool.
beginning of January. We were
Where'd
trying
you
to
get
do
the idea?
Well, it kind of spiraled from everyone's all like, oh, you need to date your wife, right? You gotta date each other. You gotta be out just with the two of you, especially now with 3 kids. But realize but we also like to travel and do things as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're spending like $120, $150 a night for 4 times a night or something, or every other night, like, man, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so we're like, you know what? But we're okay spending the money. Let's reallocate it. Let's do coffee dates in the mornings, drop off the kids, whatever, every Friday morning, have an hour to just ourselves, just to talk about us and just like, it's us
Cool.
time. And then, it's great because it leads into and one of my factors, it leads into our weekend where we always do bill schedules, meal planning, things like that.
Okay.
And we always have a meeting every weekend. But it derived from that, and then therefore the additional dollars we're expected to put aside to go do things. So in March, like once a quarter, in March her and I took a couple days. We just went to visit, just the 2 of us, right? Things like
Okay,
that.
so yes,
You know
the
what I mean?
research shows that couples who go on adventures together,
Yeah.
they have way more positive emotion between them. And positive emotion between you and another person is what makes a relationship that is worth pursuing and continuing.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So
So we already
that's really
have
cool.
tickets with flights to Northern California to go to Carmel in November.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that gives
between
you
is a lot of
something
stuff.
to anticipate.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. Yeah, and she needs that.
Mm.
My wife, like I said, she's like, I need to know action. I need to know what's going on in our future, making sure we're good.
Yes.
So to have that for her also.
Okay, so, and I have a question going back then to the
Sure,
action taking thing. So you think about things and she wants to take action. She wants to make a decision. So you just said just now that she wants to know we have a plan, like a 5-year, 10-year plan.
Very big plans. Yeah.
So that's making decisions
Correct.
about where we're going. So has that been a point of contention of her requesting, I need a plan, and then you're like, I need to think. And
No. I guess I'm almost too laid back and easygoing that I don't even need to have that trip in November. We could talk about it.
Okay.
All right, yeah, maybe we could do that. Like, I can always see, maybe,
Yeah.
whatever. And then it's like, hey, let's pull the trigger. Let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay to pull the trigger and do it.
Okay.
So I'm very much
so-
more lax on things. And
Okay,
just
so
let it
pulling the
easy flow.
trigger, is it usually initiated by her?
Yeah, but it's also with a conversation. Like, we come to that decision together,
Okay.
ultimately. And so,
Is she usually initiating conversations about making a decision?
Yes.
Okay. And how does she experience that, or has she communicated? What I'm getting at, Eli, is a lot of women, they are under a lot of decision fatigue because they're making a lot of decisions all the time with the management of the home, and if they work outside the home, right? And women typically, if they're in their feminine energy, right, they really appreciate a man who takes charge, who takes leadership, who plans the dates, who plans the trips,
sure,
who decides this is what we're doing in the next 5 years, and I'm along for the ride, kind of thing.
No, that's not her.
That's not her. Okay.
No, and she knows that to a fault as well.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, because she knows that if she doesn't plan it, it's going to be shit.
Okay.
Right? So she has this...
Does she feel obligated to plan it? Because...
Not exactly obligated, but she has to be involved.
Okay. Is it the control factor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, big time.
Interesting. Okay.
Because she wants to... But at the same time, and again, we talked about this, so it's not like it's a true contention.
Okay.
But it's a place of, hey, I get to snap the rubber band on her wrist. You know, are you allowing me to do this, or do you really want it, or do you just want to allow it, or
right.
and live with whatever it is and be easygoing?
Right, which is the trade-off, right? So, and that's so cool that you guys have gotten to a place where you can communicate and help somebody kind of get out of their trance, right? And be like, okay, let's get grounded in reality. What are the trade-offs? What do you value more? Do you value me taking charge here, or do you value being in control? Yeah, because you can't have both. You can't have both. You can't have both. And but it's one of those things where maybe it's still it's setting some expectations or a little bit of both. You can have a little bit of both in this regard. Watch, she's in control, but then I'm giving input of what to do there, right? We're going to Carmel in there, but we're working together. I'm researching some things, and I'm like, hey, so I saw this. Collaboration. It is true collaboration, even though she's more in control. But I'm like, hey, let's do this. Let's make sure our trip is focused here. Or hey, so you're giving an opinion of what you would like. Okay. I coached a couple one time, and he would never give his opinion. Oh, boy. And that's why I was wondering how you were involved, because you said you're so laid back. I'll be happy with whatever. Yeah, honey, whatever. Right. That bothers the crap out of women. People. Yeah, people. Totally. And so, and the female in this couple she was like, I can't plan it if you're going to tell me while we're in the trip, this sucks. When you didn't give me any input about what you would like to do. We actually have a saying that we say together. It's like, you can't, when someone asks you if they like their tattoo, you can't just be like, it sucks. You have to say, wow, it's great. Amazing. Like, it's a tattoo. There you go. Rid of that. Kind of like, your baby's so cute. Yeah. You can't take that one back. You can't take that. You sure? I mean, it's Jabba the Hutt here, but but ultimately, we'll say that to each other, like, are you serious? Like, when we hear people do that, it's like, because it is true. She'll plan things and then have family involved, and they want to piggyback our adventure. Yeah. But then they'll criticize a little bit, or their kid will, and that even also is just as bad for us. Like, no. Yeah. Put them in place. So they're not truly, I'm fine with it, with whatever. They're not, They're fine with whatever during the planning, but during the execution, they're not. Yeah, and so you get, that's where I think we're a little different. We get it. But so that's really cool that you're able to collaborate. You give their input. Yeah. She appreciates, she takes that into consideration, but she really likes to be the one who's executing. Doing it. Yeah, putting the itinerary together, let's put it that way. Now, backstory with this, she is and was, or she's an event planner. Oh, well, there you have it. Yeah. So since 2009, she's been doing incentive trips, high level, high end things. So she's very in tune with what the experience will need to feel like and look like. User experience. Yeah, got it. And when you're spending a decent amount of money, she wants to make sure. That's why she loves Disneyland. Or we love Disneyland. They have really gotten all the details. We know that we're going to experience a great time. Yes. Regardless. Even though it's pricey, we're gonna have an amazing time. Right. And that's kind of like, okay, we're gonna go do this trip, whatever adventure it is. We just went to Puerto Vallarta last week, and outside of that's Punta Mita. And she booked this thing, got a private chef with it, the Airbnb, and all these things, and wanted to make sure we had just this experience. And therefore we're good. And spending that kind of money, therefore it's good, because she's now relaying it to what we did last year to Hawaii and Maui.
And so like there's this thing where now wants to book these adventures. She's, but then we were in Putamita. She was at the house. She's like, I'm kind of, bummed. She was bummed a little bit. I go, you gotta stop that. You gotta just live in the moment. We're here to relax, be with our family, be with our kids. Don't worry about that the place kind of looks a little run down. It's an Airbnb. It's right by the beach and the pool. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
So she's focusing on these little details when I'm like, no. This is not why we're doing this. Right. Reset yourself on this why and appreciate what's out there in front of you.
Cool. It sounds like you guys have a great sort of dynamic where you're able to check each other gently, and the other person can take the feedback or take the correction, if you will, without taking it personally. How long did it take to get to that point?
I think it was still around that 10-year mark. Yeah. And for me, in my personal growth, it actually took religion.
Oh, okay.
We were Christ followers, and we were big churchgoers. We actually did
from the very beginning.
Ministry. No.
Okay, because that's what I usually see.
We both grew up Catholic.
Okay.
Like heavy Catholic, and then after college and after having our second kid, we were in that progressive, like Christ following types church. It was a Nazarene church actually, and that was very progressive though. And then just followed that path in Christ following, and then we were in marriage groups and parenting groups together.
So you were very intentional.
Very intentional. And that really put us, and that was that 8-year mark that put us in that trajectory of having better communication and conversation.
Was in the church going, and who led the way on that?
Actually, we both. My parents actually came to visit from New York, up in Scottsdale, and they're like, "Hey, we found this church right down the street. You guys should go." And we're like, "Okay." And so her and I were like, "All right, we'll do this." So we went, and it was the weirdest church moment in our lives because they didn't have rows. They set up tables. They had scripture, and they asked the congregation to talk to each other about it. And we're like, "What is this? Like, I'm supposed to kneel, say my Hail Marys? I don't know what this is all about." We're like, "Okay, that was kind of interesting." We go back, then they had the rows. And there's your typical, like, associate pastor speaking, worship and all the things. We're like, okay. So then we were talking to people and get to know each other. And of course, our kids are going into the children's side and learning all of that. So, yeah. But then we really grew with this group. And we were growing personally, but the group itself was declining. Oh. And so the children's pastor, associate pastor moved to Tennessee. They needed someone to help run the children's ministry. And Devin and I did that.
Oh, cool. Devin's your wife.
Devin's my wife. And so and then we were, as a congregation, declining as numbers and went to a high school. We had to set up a strike church now, still running children's ministry, so we're really involved. And we were doing all the groups, right? We had a group of like 8 couples that were together, all different parts of life, ages, and learning each other, learning the word and learning about how to raise proper kids or marriage, things like that.
Cool. So it was a real community, right? But it was also a structure, right? With which you had like a common goal that you guys worked. So you weren't building a business together, but you were working on a project together.
Totally.
And parenting is working on a project together.
Oh my
so
gosh,
there's a lot of collaboration going on multiple levels.
Yeah.
So in that first 8 years, like you said, where you finally got the benefit of the doubt and you guys figured out how to communicate, what were the biggest challenges for yourself and just in relationship in that process? Like,
I was still trying to grow up.
Your biggest hang-ups, your biggest triggers, yeah.
I was still growing up. I had friends visiting or things. I go out. This is like 2006. I was still hitting up Devil's Martini, dates me, Barcelona, right? In Scottsdale, and trying to party it up and be friends and still be that dude.
The life of the party.
The life of the party, exactly. And so
there's a lot of validation from that.
Yeah, right. And so kept pursuing that, but then so that was a lot of tension.
Yeah.
In that regard,
and she wasn't interested in going out. She wanted to be home.
She was a hobbit. I said it. Hobbit. No, I said. And so no, she was not interested in that. She was interested of doing things together, of course, and being with the kids.
Did she maintain friendships outside the marriage, like girlfriends and stuff like that?
Yeah, a couple. The roommate that we lived with the second time, the second was the maid of honor of our wedding, and she actually also lived in Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, she moved down to Arizona as well with the opportunity, and so she had her and then her family, and then I was like, that was kind of like the core, and
So
then
she had built like a social structure
yeah.
outside, because you said
But
she wanted to
but she
just do
really,
stuff together.
but yeah, but she really never wanted. She never really pursues that, even to
Okay.
this day.
She didn't.
She doesn't like. She has some friends that she'll hang out like every 6 months.
Okay. But she
So
mostly just wants to hang out with you.
yes, yeah, I'm amazing. I'm sorry. No, but also because of our busy lives. I think right now, like
Yeah.
soccer's every weekend. We have just crazy schedules left and right, and then adding in the trips and the stuff with our kids. It's just it gets nuts pretty
Yeah.
fast with our schedules. It's amazing that I gotta like, hey, in 3 weeks, hey friend, yeah, we'll hang out.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so
So
it sounds like early on you guys had a lot of community, and you still do. You're still part of the church.
no,
Oh,
no,
you're
we're
not.
not.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
that was just
okay.
a moment of time that really grew us.
Yeah, yeah.
And then eventually we moved to Gilbert. I was part of the mission church, and then I was part of men's ministry.
I want to hear about more of that in
Okay.
a bit. Okay.
All right.
So you had community, so it wasn't just the two of you, right? Which
Right.
I find is really nurturing to a relationship. It's not
Mhm.
just the two. And then you have people to gain perspective when things aren't going well between the two of you. Right?
Sure.
You have people to confide in, people who are safe.
We did. Yeah,
Okay.
we did. But we really confided in each other mostly. I'll tell you
Okay.
that right now. It's
Mhm.
when things are bad between us or have an argument or something, like it still happens today, don't get me wrong, but we're able to snap the rubber band on the wrist and just be like, hey, you know, we know how to get out of it.
We know how to
quick.
solve this.
Yeah. And so and understand it some more and get over it quickly.
Okay.
Apologize all the time.
So
and then move
kind
on.
of just, I'm going back to, you said don't get me wrong, it was rocky in the beginning.
Yeah.
What does that mean specifically? How was it rocky?
It was this level of like, I'm supposed to be a husband, not this dude, not this partying dude, right?
So it was an identity shift that you were
Correct.
navigating.
Yeah, yeah.
And how did you ultimately achieve that identity shift?
That's when the church came into play.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it put us in a place with different role models.
Different environment.
Correct.
Okay.
Different
So
people,
environment
different
counts for a lot of who
Huge.
we are and signaling who you need to show up as.
And looking back, like, you know, I'm just tripping over myself and stumbling through all this
Yeah.
and saying this out loud like you are today. It's I can only acknowledge and say yes. It's about the environment. It's about the people who are around you that truly nurture your, with your term there, nurture your relationship with who you are as a man, as a husband, and as a father.
Yeah.
Hands down.
So that environment made it sort of like, not permission, but I guess nurtured you into, it's okay to let go of this guy, this party guy.
Yeah.
Because this is just as good, if not better.
Yes.
That was the
Yeah,
signaling.
Right.
So you had role models of other men who were in that, who were
Yeah.
being fathers and
Totally.
husbands, and people that you respected, I assume.
Yeah. Eventually, and had great relationships and just talking through things, and yeah, it was
Cool.
absolutely.
That's awesome.
I agree with that all of that.
Okay, so, so that was what was hard for you, was the maturing. How did she experience being your wife as you were struggling to mature and identity switch? Has she ever talked about how it was for her?
That's an interesting question. I'm gonna have to ask that tomorrow during Friday couple coffee date.
Because I remember, I was mature. We got married young too, so we were both maturing and we were kind of raising each other. But I do remember thinking and feeling resentment that his mother didn't finish raising him.
Sure.
And I was really annoyed that I was having to do it.
Nice.
Because, there was a lot of immature behaviors coming on his end. And me too, but from my perception, it was a lot more from his
Sure.
end.
And that's a very, seems like a very common
Dynamic
for men and women, especially if you're meeting each other at 21.
Right, and like I
Yeah.
said, developmentally, emotionally, psychologically, we're 18 months ahead, if not more, in our development.
Totally.
And so a lot of women, after that honeymoon newness phase of how exciting and adventurous this new person is, right, they get to start sort of experiencing a dynamic of mother-child type of thing, which is
Sure.
such a turn off. Like, no one wants to have sex with their kid. I mean, sick people do, but but yeah. And sometimes that takes that dynamic sticks around for a long, long
Yeah,
time.
that trajectory can keep going.
And then the bitterness and resentment just builds and builds and builds. So that's so fortunate that you were able to achieve that. Do you know if that was consciously done or just kind of unconsciously done? You could tell, like, she's not going to put up with this crap for me forever. I better get my shit together.
Very good statement.
Okay.
Yeah, you nailed me there. It was, I think the idea of building a family, and that is a project with the kids, and that we had kids so young. It's interesting that I think put my pressure on to them, but learned in those 8 to 10 years, I'm going to be a good father was my thing. And a lot of guys do this. And this is where I teach some guys when I hear, because I'm in my business, I hire younger guys in mortgage. So
you mentor a lot.
I mentor some of those guys and talk through their dynamic and what that's like. And it's amazing how these younger guys cherish the older guys that have families and do a high intense job. And they say this out loud. I talk to dozens of guys each month, and how they're like, I want to be like this, and you guys are so amazing. But I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just trying to provide, man. Wow. You know what I mean? But it's humbling me in that vision.
Are these kids who didn't have a dad at home to look up to?
I don't know that. I don't know that. But it's mostly of but so going back to what my train of thought, is that I was like, my feeling of love went to my kids before my wife. Not in a bad way, but that was my motivation to keep building, keep making sure we're providing this dynamic of my wife and I for them.
Fostering for the kids, yeah. So.
But then it shifted, going through church and going through men's ministry, that, no, your kids are only with you for 18 years. Who's at the end of that? Your wife. You got to learn how to be a husband first before a father. And I learned that at 32 years old. I didn't learn that having a kid at 23 years old, right? So it's like, wait a minute. So when that was taught to me and hearing through that, listening to that, and studying that with other men at that time I was 32, in their 40s and in their 50s, they're learning this as well. This is new to them. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, what?
And isn't this interesting that this isn't pervasive in our culture? You have to be in some kind of men's church group.
That's what I had to
learn the proper way of thinking about and relating to the family unit and the different people in the family unit.
Yeah, And it's weird because my dad, like my mom and dad were divorced ever since I can remember, because I was like 3 years old. So I had no idea that I'd never seen them together. But he was with my stepmother forever. Right. And how they love on each other and showing affection, that was something that we still do today and have no problem with. But it's one of those moments of like, it was an aha moment, big time. And being accountable of your actions, understanding what, loving with all your heart, following Jesus,
an open heart.
An open heart, yeah. And so it was amazing to learn that time. And again, another step in trajectory.
Maturing. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So I imagine that the relationship, just the whole feel of the relationship, really changed a lot when you got to that. Tell me how that shifted. Because during that, you said the 10 years you were young father, young mother. She was a young mother.
Absolutely.
And then 10 years later, you were like
we finally feel like we're grown-ups.
Yeah.
We're buying a house finally.
What I call getting your head out of your butt.
Yeah, totally.
So during that time, that's a lot of strain to not have your husband open-hearted, because women are really, one of their highest focus in relationship is the flow of love between them and their partner. And so you were focused on the kids, and 10 years later you're figuring out, the wife, I need to pay attention to her. And attention for women is like a drug. It's high on our list, right? Yeah. And she's taking care of infants, which is extremely difficult. Okay. Right. Do you know how did that period of life, how was that for her? Her husband is not with her emotionally, and she's just constantly taking care of these round the clock people that need me.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got to a place where we understood taking care of the kids. I was all in.
Okay. So mechanically you were supportive with taking care of
Yes.
kids, which is amazing.
Yeah. So, like, for instance, like in the evenings, right, when you have a kid, it's the woman's got to feed them.
Yep.
Right. And so I can't do that part, but I can change the diaper.
Right.
So we woke up together. I changed the diaper. They were ready. Feed. And that was our routine.
Cool.
When they got older, and I think we learned this again through our church group, because our kids are getting older. We're in church. It was the parenting of how to be that mechanic. But it was like when they got older, and they're like 2-4 years old, and they're still waking up at night or here and there. We had we realized that what was it called? We had a time of 3:00 a.m. Before 3 was me. After 3 was her.
Okay.
So something's happening, crying, blah, blah, blah. You look at the clock. We already know who's going to be up and making it happen. So we set these parameters and set these things to have this dynamic so it wasn't as stressful raising kids.
Yeah.
And being involved in that. But it ultimately, it became more intention or more contention down the road when they did get older and you have more appointments and you have more things, having that fight of whose job's better. We both were working.
Yeah.
And, and so she was a breadwinner. Well, at that time, no, probably was. And so, automatically, and that's how a lot of dynamics go, whoever's the breadwinner, it's my job's best.
Yeah.
I make the most.
The priority.
Right, the priority. So this appointment came up, you got to take care of it.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute, no, I got this and that as well. Like, why are you belittling me?
This is a very difficult thing to navigate for modern
Totally.
families.
So we solved 2 birds with 1 stone: schedules and bills.
Okay.
And finances. We did Financial Peace University.
Okay.
Learning more about that. But the biggest thing was the meeting. And I share this with a lot of couples that have this contention with finances mostly. And with the scheduler thing, like you just said, like everyone has a problem with that. It's very common. Very difficult and very common. So how do you nip that in the bud? Is we have a meeting every Saturday. Every Saturday for the
with
last...
the kids too?
No.
Oh,
no,
just
no,
you two?
No, they don't mean anything to us. No, I'm just kidding. I love you kids. So ultimately, it's a meeting to go over the finances together. Every week, and we do like a couple months at a time, talk quarterly if we need to, just so we're navigating that and making sure money's in the bank the way we need to. Hey, there's money, why are we not spending it? Well, we know down the road we got things to do.
Right.
And so there's just this healthy conversation at that moment. Also, schedules. We have a shared calendar with the kids now, because I have older kids, 19, 17 years old. They have the calendar as well. And every time they say something, like this every time they need to do something with friends, or whatever the case would be, outside of work or in the house, they got to put on the calendar. Because we're going to trust that someone's going to be home. If we have to do something, we know where you guys are, because I still have a 10-year-old.
Right.
So we got to figure that out. And so everyone's accountable to make sure they put it on that shared calendar.
That's really cool.
But every Saturday we do go over that shared calendar, and her and I look over our work calendar along with our personal calendar. To then I place personal items onto my work calendar. So then I know where I need to be. Hey, someone's like, hey, I need to meet with you on this day and this time. Sorry, I got to take my kid to the dentist.
She doesn't have to mother you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then she doesn't have to feel like she's like your secretary reminding you of things that's going on.
Sure.
Which
yeah.
women hate.
yeah. So it eliminated that conversation daily.
Cool.
And now we both have our calendar in front of us. It emails us every morning.
Nice.
So we'll have coffee in the morning. Just take a peek at another time. Just make sure we're good. How you doing? What other meetings? Maybe we can do lunch together. Maybe we don't. I don't know. Because we both work from home.
Okay.
Mostly, throughout the week. So we really don't see each other, because she's always busy. I'm always busy. But ultimately, we try to see what's going on day in, day out. But Saturday is a focused one, going, oh, hey, this person's there, here, blah, blah, blah. We got to take Isaac here, there. Whatever the case may be. Therefore, it's now blocked on my work calendar, because I have a digital calendar out there that people can book whenever they like. So I have to make sure it's available and up to date all the time. but it takes effort. It takes time in
Oh,
our
sure
Saturday
does.
morning.
Yeah.
Typically
When
an
you
hour
would
and a half
like
to
to
2 hours.
rather just like
Just have coffee and
sleep
rest
in
and sleep.
and watch a show or
So it just takes some time to do that, and we're dedicated to do that. And then, then we have our to-do lists and make that happen. Meal plan and grocery shop and do whatever we got to do. So we carve our time every Saturday to make sure we do that. So
So
therefore,
it sounds like you guys have it really dialed in, the business of running a home and a family.
correct. Yeah, big
So
time.
how do you keep the romance alive?
Yeah. The romance alive. Like I said, I do mention that we have our Friday coffee date that goes extended coffee basically because in the mornings we still have us. But right
And when
now,
you're doing the coffee dates, you're not talking the business of
we're just
family
talking
stuff.
emotionally.
Cool.
Whether
That's
where
important.
our head's at, maybe with work or what's going on there,
Yeah.
but more on the emotional side, not
Cool.
because of the work or
Right.
not work. It's more emotional side. It's more of like what's happening. Maybe she's had some conversations with family members. I had conversations with family members. We're finally catching up with our week
Yeah.
to know where that's at, what that's going on. Giving our wishes to each other,
Cool.
right? You're giving your wishes of like, I want to do this or wish to do that, or I really feel like, talk about the kids a little bit, right? What their conversations are like. And because having a 19-year-old and 17-year-old, they're going to be different conversations with mom versus dad. All the time, big
yes.
time. So we get to kind of come together a little bit to understand how that's happening, because I'm still learning how to truly talk with my 19-year-old daughter, and need to talk with my 17-year-old son. And because I have I'm one of those dads that are like, I'm pushing you,
Yeah.
to a brink. And
That's what dads do.
That's what dads do.
And it serves a very important function of the maturing process.
It could get to a place where it's like, oh my God, am I pushing
too
too
much?
hard?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
a very
So
hard thing
so
to
that
navigate.
balance, right? And so we have plenty of conversations of that. I mean, one this morning, I was like, I am so frustrated because we found something in the air fryer. I was like, wait, what? That was lunch for Isaac yesterday. Why he didn't do this? And so he's going to hear from me later on today. But it's just one of those things, like, so I voiced it to my wife, Devin. I'm very frustrated. I don't like how this is going. She goes, I'll handle it. And I'm like, so she's being that person,
Mhm.
right? And then
The
that
go-between. The liaison.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, okay, I'll let it go. I'm gonna work. I'll come back, and then if I need to have additional conversations to make sure, as a family unit, to hone in my emotions, because I'll just get mad,
Uh-huh.
right? So she's kind of my check
Yep.
of like, hey, you can voice you're frustrated. Absolutely.
Sure.
You didn't help your brother have lunch, and I asked you to do that before I head out to him. So it's light work, but to me, but to you, it sounded like, what the heck are you doing for getting this? So having that conversation and making sure our kids are like in a place where they're hitting the expectations we need to.
Yeah.
So, but that balance is crucial for me. And
What about when she loses the plot with the kids?
we reverse. Yeah.
Yeah.
It reverses. It's kind of crazy.
Not enough people talk about how valuable that dynamic is. Because
Yeah.
raising kids is extremely hard. It's like the hardest thing, okay? And raising kids alone is so hard. I don't know how people do that. Because when I lose the plot, when I'm hormonal, right? I'm so grateful that he can be like, go take a walk. I got this.
Yeah. Hey,
And
you know
then
what? I
vice
got this.
versa, when he loses his head,
I got this.
take a break.
Yeah.
People who are
Tremendous.
doing it alone,
They don't
just,
have that.
They just lose their mind.
Hopefully they have a friend. Hopefully they have family
They're
around
not
them. Hopefully.
in the home.
That's true.
And that's when it really counts, when you're really just completely lost your mind.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love that you guys have been able to develop that. Is that something you always had, or is that something
No.
you had to navigate that?
Navigate that, and more
learn how
recently
to-
in the last probably 4 years.
Okay. Learn how to not
So-
take it personally when you're being checked, kind of thing.
Yes. Like why are you taking their side?
Oh,
Right?
to
'Cause
not
that-
see it as a zero-sum game.
Yeah,
See,
so-
it's
so they're-
amazing. This perception changes is what changes everything, right?
Right. So it's like, wait, I'm the dad. You're supposed to support me. Don't support the kids.
Mhm.
Or I call it the big bad wolf, right? The big bad wolf. So, I'm the bad guy now,
Uh-huh.
right? You're coming in, swooping in, being a hero, and I'm the bad guy. And so having plenty of those conversations,
Okay.
right? Enough to go, wait a minute, hold on.
Right. It's not so black and white. This is nuanced, and every situation
Right.
is different. Sometimes we do need to swoop in, and sometimes we need to just step back and let you be a fool.
Okay, makes sense.
Right?
But then eventually, like, also coming back to it, if I was out of line, to apologize
Yeah.
and to be like, hey, you know, and then coming down to a emotion or a place to be like making sure they still know where to be in
Right.
front of me, right? How to act
So
accordingly.
that humility piece, being able
Yeah.
to say sorry to your kids
Oh my
and
God.
sorry to your wife. You
Shit.
probably didn't always have that.
No,
So
not at all.
How was that journey for you to?
It's still tough for me.
Yeah.
Tough for me in my personality. I think it's where my New Yorker Puerto Rican comes into play.
Uh-huh.
But it is definitely a lot better. But that came into play probably like 5-6 years ago,
Okay.
more so than ever.
What was the pressure or the
The moment that kind of flipped
yeah,
there.
what was the tension that was like, okay, I can't keep doing it this way. I've got to do something else.
No, when I don't want to make my wife cry, right?
Okay.
And so it was a little more often than I liked, and I'm like, you know what, I don't want this anymore.
So-
I don't want this feeling anymore.
So I love that you connected to her emotions and that you recognize that I'm having a responsibility in the way she feels.
Yes.
A lot of times, though, when women cry in relationships, men will choose, and again, this is a perception thing, men will choose to believe or perceive, oh, she's just manipulating me.
Oh.
Did you ever have that one?
Oh, we had those fights. We had those conversations early on.
Okay.
That was more on the first 8 years.
Okay.
Is I felt that way.
Okay.
Like,
Was
what
it
the heck?
was it a misperception? Was she actually manipulating you, or was it just you didn't know how to sit in the tension of that kind of emotion?
I think I didn't know how to sit in that tension emotion.
Okay. Because
No.
some women will do that. I'm not accusing your wife, but
No,
some
no,
women, the
I
dark
totally get
side
that.
of the feminine, some women will use tears to manipulate people around them.
No, it's no, nothing like that. It was more of I was immature with the emotions I'm feeling and understanding, you know, how to, I guess, come to that point where, wait a minute, what am I really yelling about? It's like one of those moments where you have an argument and you're yelling at each other and you're like, wow, how did we get here?
Yeah.
And we actually this is kind of popped in my brain. We found out, I don't know how or why. This is interesting, actually, saying this out loud. Because we've been together for so long, it was like a dozen years now, she knows how to press my button.
Yeah.
And I know how to press her button.
Yep.
And we would do that in an argument because why?
You could.
You could. Yeah, you could. It's like, oh, you know, you're just like your mother, right? That whole thing.
Ooh.
But I don't say that. But that's like to give a connotation.
Right.
You don't need to go there.
Right.
And it's like,
Even though
why
you
that?
could.
Even though you could, and you know how to press their buttons, that's why it's hard to. And so realizing that and saying that out loud to each other and together, you're going, am I really pushing buttons? Or are we really talking about the issue at hand?
Yeah.
What are we really talking
Are
about
we
now?
here in the present, or are we acting out of childhood patterns?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you bringing up something 3 years ago?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that was again, some of that contention in the early years.
Yeah. Well, I
Growing
love
out
that
of
you
that.
said. I love that you said that as a question, because I've noticed when things really start to change is when people stop throwing accusations.
Correct.
You're such a jerk for bringing up my mom. Instead, saying, why did you do that? Because it really helps them to reflect and go,
Right.
oh, I don't know why I did that.
Yeah.
Let's have an honest answer. Why did you do that? And you don't get to
Yeah.
say, I don't know.
Yeah, you
Kind of
don't.
thing.
You don't.
Yeah.
You got to give an answer. Or we really talk about the issue and then really having a conversation about the issue. Why do you feel that way? What is it that you really has to be this way? Why is there an ultimatum or this thing that's like, I only can see it this way?
So you had to, part of your maturation process is you had to acquire emotional skills and emotional communication skills.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And
And brutal.
women are farther ahead in that whole realm
Right.
than men are. I've heard a marriage coach refer to it as women are like a 300-pound gorilla compared to next to a guy
And emotional?
in that emotional space.
Oh, okay.
Right. So not just learning how to interact with your own emotions and hers, but learning how to actually dialogue about emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And-
I don't know. I did not know how to do that until 6 years ago.
And so how did you learn that? Was it just trial and error? Or
Trial and
did you
error.
have
I would have to
mentors?
say trial and error.
Okay.
Trial and error. And reading.
And
I did some
looking
reading.
back, if you had been given mentorship as a young man about how to communicate about emotions and how to interact with emotions, do you think things would have gone very differently if you had that vocabulary?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm learning things at 30 years old, while the same guy's learning the same thing at 40 or 50.
Right, when you mentioned
Yeah, and so if you were learning how to do that in your mid-20s, or some, I don't know why you're doing that.
Well, the better question is, why wouldn't you?
I get it,
Right.
but that's the, I think, the social construct of like, and more of it is today. I'll tell you that right now. I see it in my 17-year-old son. They are very much more in tune emotionally than we ever were in our generation at 17 years old.
Yeah.
Because
women are demanding it.
well, there's that, but I think ultimately mental space and mental clarity is really taught these days.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
younger-
People.
younger-
Nobody even had the terms for that when we were kids.
Right.
Yeah.
So that wasn't. So now that's in the front area of like making sure you have your space, you have a time to be for yourself, to decompress. Like I'm like, why would a teen, like I was go, and that could be my New York self in me. My family's that way. We were always go.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have time to be like mental clarity and space. What are you talking about? You gotta
Right.
go get stuff done. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not here to.
So it's interesting, and this is more general, not
Sure.
more for your relationship. So kids these days, you're seeing it, I'm seeing it, I think a lot of people are seeing it, that they're having the vocabulary and the self-awareness and having conversations about what's going on internally, which can go a little narcissistic, right? Because it's a focus on self. But there's a balance of self-reflection and outward facing. But so they have the the skills, or they're going into the dating world with something that we didn't have.
They do.
But they're not able to form relationships. That's like what's going on. They're socially atrophied in other ways. So
They are,
people aren't getting married until they're 30s.
I think it's the confidence.
So, okay, I think you're right too. That's a big, because
Confidence is everything.
So I was listening to a podcast, and you're right. Confidence is only earned. You can't just tell yourself in the mirror I'm confident. It's earned by taking risks and sticking your neck out. And kids aren't doing that anymore.
No.
And there's lots of reasons for that. But, and I was listening, and it said that most people under 30 have never asked a person out in person.
Right. In person.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's a crazy stat.
Isn't that amazing? And
yes.
most people under 26 and under have never had a relationship.
Yeah, never. No, it's true. And the reason for that is, I mean, you're able to, like, I'm going to play with my friends. What does that mean? That means I'm jumping on a video game console with a
Am I
headset,
really by
and I have
myself?
5, 6, 7 people around me. But yeah, you're by yourself.
Yeah, they're
Where
in
you
their
and I,
homes, and
we need to go play Mario Kart. We had to
You
go
have to go
to
to the
someone's
house,
house, and there was 4 controllers on the floor to have your friends over.
yeah.
And so you're around people, and so you don't have to be around people to do life, ever these days. Ever.
It's
You
really
don't-
scary.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You
we've
can-
gotten a little off track.
I know. I'm sorry.
The general,
but yeah, confidence.
but we're
is big.
parents, and those are things that
Yeah, it comes in
we
our brain.
are. We're concerned about. I'm concerned about my kids going out into the world,
Yeah.
but because they're not experiencing the world that we went into, and
No,
so it's hard to give them guidance.
No, my daughter actually is meeting people in person.
Okay, nice.
And we had a really proud mommy daddy moment in the beginning of her freshman year last year, that she was talking with a guy, and they were talking, right? What we talk about, and then they were they went to a football game or some kind of party or something like that. I forgot one. It was one of the two, and apparently he had a friend also, but the friend and her were talking, but he wasn't. And afterwards, she's like, I thought, we would, what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
I thought, I was talking to your friend the whole time. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? Like, and so she's already like, to me, confident enough to go, hey, WTF?
Yeah. Bring it up.
Yeah.
Which brings me back to a question I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
Over the years, I'm sure that there's been times in your relationship where, there's a dynamic going on that it has become intolerable, and you're like, I can't accept this anymore, right? So you have to have hard conversations, right? So what have you guys figured out on how to approach those hard conversations, and make it so that the problem actually does get solved? What have you figured out?
When you, is that, well, hard conversations with our kids,
with each other.
with each other.
Right. So there's a dynamic going on in the relationship. I can't accept this. This is not the kind of relationship I want to have, because of whatever the other person's doing or not doing. Right. What have you guys figured out in approaching problem solving for those things?
I think ultimately, we just come out and say some things.
Okay.
Like, hey,
is there a timing that matters?
no, well, yeah, maybe when it's, I mean, not in the heat of a moment of any sort.
Okay. So
Or
when
not
both
when
people
it,
are
or
calm.
yeah, it's calm. Just like, yeah, and just like say something, or hey, um, intimacy is everything, right? And so that is a place in the chapter of our life right now. It's like, hey, how do we get a little better than this? And so it's just, we do talk about it in those calm settings.
How have you both figured out how to express your dissatisfaction with the current status quo?
We just, I would basically just say something like, hey, I felt this.
Okay.
Didn't take action on something here. Am I reading something wrong?
Okay. So you're saying my subjective experience of
Yes.
this, and then you ask a question
Yes.
of kind of like, how are you experiencing it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And so, and then, but I think that's where, with any hardship or something we're feeling, I guess with any part of our emotion or who we are together, asking a question of like, you know, I'm feeling this. Are you feeling the same thing? I felt that, and then give an example,
Yeah.
a recent example of where that feeling was.
So you're coming with evidence.
Exactly.
Okay.
And dissect that.
Okay.
And then therefore it comes up again, we kind of know.
Okay.
Kind of know what's going on.
How do you guys handle when you disagree on your subjective interpretation of something that happened? Like you're living in different realities about something. How do you guys usually navigate that?
We would probably butt heads, talking our side of the story,
Okay.
but then eventually come to an agreement of some sort.
Okay. So you're trying to find
We
where
come
there's
with one.
common
We come
ground.
with one voice after. And I learned this from a professional development coach with growing teams. Is an idea of like, you're gonna have ideas, and you're gonna have ideas that you don't like that the other
Yeah.
person has.
Yep.
But have the conversation, dial it down, like get it to a point where you have one voice. And when you leave that conversation, it is one voice, and believe that.
How does that exactly happen?
So you got to question it. You got to have the conversation, question why they feel this way, I feel this way, and coming to that agreement and coming to that expectation of agreement. So it's just constant questions, constant stories, or talking about that or this, and putting us in the position, making a decision now. Why is it important, or going in the future? What does that mean for us going forward? Is this, and ultimately, I think comes down to, and we don't like have talk bullet point values, but we have family values.
Sure.
And what we perceive to be the best values for us and our family. So when we make this decision, or we say something, or agree to something, that we know why we're saying it together.
Okay.
And when you say it together in one voice like that, and that's it, then you have each other's back, and it's one conversation, one communication going out, and that's it, and then move on.
Awesome. I love that you use that phrase, because you gave the definition of having your own back or having each other's back, and then you said the phrase. So I know why I'm doing this, and I like my reasons.
But yes.
Having your back. So
Yeah.
as according, you mentioned values and being on the same page with values.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something you guys were always in agreement in our values, or was that something you had to kind of navigate?
No, we were kind of always in agreement. We come with big families. We kind of understood what we wanted to provide for our kids, how to show up for family is the biggest one. You show up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I don't care what you got going on. We can show up. Doesn't matter how busy you are. Doesn't matter what's going on. If it's important, and family to us is important, so we show up for each other.
Okay.
Hands down. That's just how it goes. And so, and our kids know that. That's the craziest part. And I don't want to hear like, make an effort with things, and then oh, I'm too busy, or this person has this, and it's like, really, like, this is a moment of their lives. And a example is all our nephews and nieces' graduations. We attend all of them as a family of 5, all 5 of them. It's not like, this person has to work. No, no. We know the date. They will take off. It's one day or one evening. We're fine. We'll make it work. So, like things like that, like making sure we show up for our family during their milestones is a family value.
Okay. So, okay, I stop at 10:30. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
just to wrap up. So, you've been married how long?
2006, so 19 years coming up in September.
Okay, but you've been together since 2002.
2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you've got a 19-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
That's it.
Okay. And so, you're starting to see the eventuality that it's just going to be us. Like it's fast approaching.
Very much so.
So, what are your thoughts and feelings about that? What are your plans? Do you anticipate maybe another identity shift that needs to happen? And how do you see yourself navigating that so that it doesn't have to be as painful as other identity transitions you've made?
No, it's a very good question. I do anticipate another identity shift for sure. Having a 10-year-old, we still have a child around, right? But only one. And so it definitely is different. And it is very, very different in the emotions there. And it's already creeping up of trying to hold in adventures. We love our adventures. Yeah. And so, but to know and understand that next chapter, I don't want to, I guess I don't want to truly stumble in it, but at the same time, it's one of those things where you kind of have to also let things happen to know where things are and test the waters, to feel what we're doing, how we're doing it. So that's the give and take, and that's why I was a fool thinking I'm going to get married and have kids at 30 when it happened when I was 23. Life is just going to throw them curveballs. Yeah. So if life's coming at you,
life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
That's it. But we understand it takes a decision. It does take action. It takes decisions, and it doesn't have to be it's not a right or wrong decision. It's just a decision.
Yep.
And so making decisions together, and I think that ultimately her and I will probably fill the void or fill some space that we're not attending kids with something, whatever it is, for each other. Adventure. It's another adventure. And so I'm excited for that. And maybe that's probably how our conversations go. Like, hey, you know what? We may have additional time on our hands without the older kids really worrying about things and that and this and that. And our 10-year-old's getting older, so we don't have to really worry about him a whole lot anymore. And so, what do we want to do with this additional time besides spend money and shop online? Right?
Yeah. How do we build more meaning, right? Yeah. So some other responsibility.
Yeah. So some other responsibility and growing and figuring that out. But that's probably the questions and things that we'll probably be talking about during our coffee chats.
Yeah. I love that you do that. What a great example. Because even, professionals who, psychologists who mentor couples, they say you should be dating each other and you should be having time outside of the time that you talk about logistics, because they're not the same. It gets
daunting.
Yeah.
It's daunting.
Not the same. It's not.
You'll get burnt out from each other.
One is a professional relationship and one is an emotional relationship. Yeah. We have to have both.
Yeah, we do.
Well, thank you, Eli, for giving us
Oh, my
your
pleasure.
story.
This is fantastic. Yeah. I learned a lot about myself actually in this, so thank you so much for doing that.